Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us. It's a sunny Tuesday afternoon right now. It's 106, just about 107, and latest check on the temperatures, at least an hour ago, it was 50 degrees. Looks like we're at 52 right now. Wind picked up out of the southeast, gusting to 24 miles an hour. All in all, I don't say it's too bad of a day. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. And we got some fun things coming up on the show. A couple things from yesterday we never quite got time to talk about. Guys, how are you enjoying the blue skies? I see there's a chemtrail up there behind an aeroplane. All sorts of cool things going on when you look up.
Today is Spray Tuesday.
It is.
Today's Spray Tuesday.
And it's past 105.
They only spray after 1 o'clock?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the tornado sirens on Wednesdays at 1.
All right.
They're testing them.
Okay, you two. That's enough of that. Really.
What? It's a cloud. It's not a chemtrail. It's a cloud. It's a contrail. Sorry, I got my letters mixed up there, Bridgette. Thanks for correcting me.
Right. Yep. No conspiracy theories today, guys. It's far too nice of a day.
Well, we do have a little thing that's a little conspiracy. Hopefully we can elude a little more facts and actual things that are going on. And Dean, this is something that you wanted to bring up last week. We didn't have time. We were going to bring it up yesterday, and we ran out of time. So I figured if we lead off with this, we might have time.
Let's
to cover
do it.
All right.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're going to be talking about something that happened last week, and we'll start the whole segment off with a
hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption. You think you know the whole story? Think again.
So this is something that we've kind of talked about many times over the last few months, and it kind of goes into the whole, and I'll throw this up in quotations for those that aren't watching us, conspiracy theories on the attacks on food infrastructure inside the United States. And this is an article that came out last week, and I'll read some of it for you. But before, let's throw a little background on here if I can find the right one. I lost it. It's gone. I just programmed that in there.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
Tell us a story.
Set the mood.
Tell us a story.
The 911 calls came in rapid succession with reports of an explosion and fire last Monday that officials would later say had trapped one employee and thousands of cattle inside of a milkery parlor in the dairy farm in Dimmitt, Texas. As emergency responders are approached after 7 o'clock, they witness a thick plume of smoke mushrooming over the plains. A woman was rushed to a helicopter to a hospital in Lubbock, Texas. While devastating, they're grateful that there weren't no further injuries, said Sid Miller, the Texas Agriculture Commissioner. As for the cattle, however, it was noted that around 18,000 had died in this explosion.
18,000?
18,000 is what they wrote here, and it was considered by Mr. Miller to be the deadliest barn fire in cattle in Texas history, although there are a few other things that might disrupt some of that a little bit. He later goes on to say that...
Okay, because if you guys made this any more dramatic, this would be Young and the Restless. And I don't know
there we go.
if he wants to wear the skirt and have the affair, but this is ridiculous. Okay, let's just
Well,
stop.
you know that there's already people out there that are saying that this is all tied to some conspiracy, that it's controlling the food, it's a corporation. And to me, this sounds like something that's happened last year with the whole heat wave that killed off 30,000 cattle in Kansas, and it turned out to be like 3,000. So, Bridgette, what kind of information we know on this? They said that the whole investigation was still being done. Is there any answers or any information on this yet?
Okay. All right, so yes, this happened at Dim Rock, Texas. It is close to Lubbock. That's where the one injured person was airlifted to, probably because of burns, is my guess. What we know and what we think happened. First of all, there was a spark that caused an explosion. Why would there be an explosion in a dairy barn? If you have a very large flat roof,
And Bridgette,
That
we're losing
barn
your
also
connection there.
Has all
We'll,
right.
we'll try
Switch
and
over
yeah,
switch to phone quick.
we'll try and do that. I'm gonna bring
Okay.
in John on line 1. John, welcome to Weather and Egg in Focus. What do you think about this?
So my radio disruptor ray is working. I've interrupted Bridgette.
You interrupted Bridgette. Thanks for ruining the show, John. What do you got?
You know, thinking about conspiracy theories.
Uh-huh.
So you remember a while back, XL Energy, finally admitted that they were leaking radioactive water, from the plant at Monticello.
Yeah.
And yet a few weeks prior to there, I drove right by that plant, literally within hundreds of yards.
Mm-hmm.
And my teeth started to hum.
You got metal fillings in there?
He's got that big gold tooth with his initials on it.
Actually, I think we just lost John because we got reconnected up with Bridgette. John, if you want to call back in, that'd be appreciated. We actually lost you there. Bridgette, are you still there?
I am. Okay, so as we were saying,
Hang on,
happened
callers.
By Dimrock, this happened by Dimrock, Texas, and which is close to Lubbock. This is a facility that does indeed house and milk 18,000 dairy cows. With those dairy cows, they were in a barn situation that was mostly of a flat roof that was also insulated. The insulation was there to help keep some of the Texas heat off those cows. There's a cross ventilation system, which meant there were very large aeration fans to blow cool air over the cattle. So in the summer months, they use what they call swamp coolers, which is basically a way to move cold, misted air over the animals. Now, the spark, where did it come from? You remember, we had a guest a while back, dairy farmer Derek Josie from Oregon. Derek put out a great video helping to explain this to non-dairy farmers. He had a fire with a feed truck. Feed trucks in your barn, that can happen. All that dry hay and stuff that gets matted up in the engine, on your radiators, any spark can happen there. Or, as was first announced in this story about the dairy, it may have been a honey wagon. A honey wagon is, in fact, a large wagon that you fill with liquefied manure and then take out to spread on fields. Where did the spark come from? If it was the honey wagon or the feed truck that had a spark, some sort of a flame, there would be methane that naturally occurs off the cows. It would be held up against the ceiling close to that insulation. So that fire could spark the methane to make an explosion, and that could happen. It's an 18,000 head herd. I did not see if it was a robotic or a carousel or exactly what their setup was, but I do know that that's a lot of animals, but it is not going to put the U.S. milk supply in jeopardy on a daily basis. We still are able to supply enough milk from our producers so that will not horribly affect us. I think the greater problem here is you have a dairy that employed 60 people that now won't be able to work except for the cleanup and so forth, which is going to be massive, right? And that's a humongous financial loss to that dairy farm. So those are some of the things that we should keep in mind. How's that?
Now,
I like it.
And Bridgette, question for you. So what do they do with all the carcasses? Can they be put to any good use or no?
No.
Okay.
Nope, that's a done deal. Someone will be digging some very large pits in order to dispose of those carcasses.
So when and John, we got you back here. I'm going to come into you here in just a moment. But Bridgette, the article, it said that there were 18,000 dead. Is that an actual number? Is that the total amount of cattle that were there? And do they have an estimate if it's not 18,000?
We haven't really been given a clear-cut number at this point. The head of the herd was 18,000, but what was likely the case is that fire spread so quickly with those cross ventilation fans. There may have been cows that died immediately, and there are those that may die long-term because of burning to their lungs, smoke inhalation, that type of thing. So originally I saw a 90% of the 18,000 cows that were killed.
What was that percentage?
90% were killed or injured of that
Wow.
18,000 head herd.
That's crazy. Well, if you want to join on this conversation, you can give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes studio line, 701-293-9000. I'll go back to John. Before we got caught up there, you were talking about your teeth humming when you were driving next to radiation in Monticello, at least the radiation leak down there, correct?
Well, that's it. I don't trust the government anymore. Dean knows I don't trust the government.
That's for
I think everyone knows.
Another fun fact for you, and this predates you guys. Years ago, DAY used to have the radio towers out by the old pipeline tank farm out there on West Main Avenue in West Fargo.
Okay.
And I have lead fillings, okay? I'm old enough to have, lead fillings in my mouth. And on certain days...
This explains quite a bit.
This is explaining more and more, John.
Okay, keep going, John.
Okay, and this is something I've always wanted a true straight answer out of somebody when it comes to the atmosphere, because on certain days when the wind and humidity were just right, and I was working in a shop that was just north and east of that location, not even a quarter of a mile, I could hear WDAY clear as a bell in my head. And I always figured that my lead fillings, when my mouth was in, and my mouth had to be in a certain position, open and closed, to get the signal. But I always say that lead fillings and glasses work like a crystal radio did.
I'm going to tell you what, John. I don't think it's the lead fillings that are picking up the radio frequency. I think it's the lead making you hallucinate that you're listening to WDAY.
See, now you're totally ruining my tinfoil hatism here. Because I'm telling you, I think the tinfoil hat theory, I think some of these tinfoil hat theories are easily explained by science. I think you guys should maybe get Gary Lezak on it because, he seems to be of a higher power than most weather people. I'm just saying.
Well, we all have those secret clearance passes to HARP there, John.
Well, I'm suspecting Gary's been to Area 51. He's just not told us yet.
Well,
we can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah, we can't talk about that. John, I'm going to let you go. We got to get rolling here to a break, and we're going to get our guest squared away with us here. Let's see. Bye, John. Our guest today is going to be Jace Angus. He's a PRCA Saddle Bronc Rider. He's also an Army vet and a rancher down in Colorado. So we're going to get him on the line with us, see what he's got going on, what all of this PCRA is, and everything that goes along to it. And if you want to join on the conversation, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes studio line. And if you want to come back to the conversation we were just having about that article that was talking about the dairy explosion down in Texas, feel free to give us a call back on the 150 segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. News Talk Radio 970 WDAY. Hi, meteorologist Justin Storm. Every afternoon, my forecasts let you know how the afternoon weather is going to go and that all-important ride home from work. In all 4 seasons, that's the reason you listen. Weather changes fast, and I'll give you the current conditions as well as what the evening will look like so you can make decisions on the plans you've made. Don't forget Weather and Ag Radio every day at 1 p.m. right here on WDAY.
Hi, this is Kevin Pfeiffer with Piper's Auction Company. Piper's upcoming April auctions include 710 acres in Stutsman County near Eldridge, 400 acres in Emmons County near Linton, 160 acres of cropland in Barnes County, 120 acres in Sheridan County near McCluskey, 480 acres in Sioux County, and 320 acres of farmland and pastureland in McLean County near Benedict, North Dakota. And don't forget farm equipment retirement auctions in New Salem, Hettinger, Kinder, Steele, and Bowman, North Dakota. View these auctions and many more land and equipment auctions at Piper's.
The average American eats 250 eggs per year, which translates to a total annual consumption of 76.5 billion eggs in the U.S. About 60% of eggs produced here in the U.S. are used by consumers, and about 9% are used by the food service industry. A chef's hat is said to have a pleat for each of the many ways you can cook eggs. The color can range from white to deep brown. Hens with white feathers and earlobes lay white-shelled eggs, while hens with red feathers and earlobes lay brown-shelled eggs. Because breeds that lay brown eggs are typically slightly larger birds, they require more food, making brown eggs usually more expensive than white. You can tell whether an egg is fresh or stale by dropping it in water. A fresh egg will sink, but a stale one will float. Eggs also contain all the essential protein, minerals, and vitamins, and egg yolks are one of the few foods that naturally contain vitamin D. And eggs are also good for your eyes because they contain lutein, which helps prevent age-related cataracts and muscle degeneration. These farm facts brought to you by the American Ag Network.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, I'm Ashley, owner of the Aspire Optical Company. Let's turn the page on this winter together with our Aloha Spring event and save 20% off your sunglass purchase for the month of March. With over 600 sunglasses, Aspire Optical offers the most comprehensive selection of sunwear in the area. Choose from Oakley, Ray-Ban, Tom Ford, Tiffany, Michael Kors, and more. Whether it's hunting and fishing, golfing or cycling, sitting on the patio or in the cab of a tractor, allow our experts to find the best sunwear solution for you. Aspire Optical, eyewear and sunwear like you've never seen.
Today would be a great day to treat your smile for charity. Dr. Jeff and the team at Designer Smiles invite you to whiten your teeth for charity, with all proceeds going to the Smiles for Life Foundation, helping children locally and abroad. Take-home whitening trays are just $199. That's right, just $199. Or the in-office whitening is $399. For details, call 701-298-9400. 298-9400. Treat your smile for charity with Dr. Jeff and the team from Designer Smiles.
A little slice of the country, still close enough to the city. A quick 30-minute drive north of Fargo will have you living the life on a beautiful 10 acres. This property checks all the boxes. Rows of gorgeous mature trees. Check. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Check. Large metal outbuilding and hay barn. Check. Did someone say chickens? Check. Check. Schedule your showing today at nancykellyrealty.com or dial 701-306-0486.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Meteorologist Extraordinaire Justin Storm. We've been very busy disputing all of the things that we hear in the news that may or may not be true, but you know what you guys didn't do? What's the weather going to be for a couple of days?
Yeah, we didn't even hit on that. Mother Nature is going to decide to kick us in the shins again, and just when we're starting to get up and get all of our bruises healed from winter. We've got 2 storms that are going to be coming our way. One will start affecting us after midnight tonight with a few showers, maybe even a thunder shower or 2. You might hear a rumble of thunder overnight tonight.
How exciting.
I know. It won't amount to much rain, and that will push north quickly, leaving us with a cloudy and cooler Wednesday. And then second part of that storm comes up at us on Thursday, probably starting off as a rain or rain-snow mix and then changing over to wet snow Thursday night and Friday. Windy conditions on Friday. Friday morning commute, probably going to be pretty slippery, especially from the FM area northward. Our computer models are starting to increase our snowfall totals for Thursday night into Friday, so you'll want to keep up to date on the forecast. And then just blustery, chilly day on Friday. Right now, anywhere, 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inch kind of snowfall we're expecting, with higher amounts to our north and higher amounts to our northeast. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on the track of that storm. Whatever we end up getting, just keep in mind, we're going into late April. This will melt in a couple of days. So that's just, I'm trying to put a positive spin on this.
I mean, here's your positive. Sorry, Bridgette, go ahead.
Well, when you say positive spin, also, we are seeing all of that water, what's melting out of the snow, really going down quickly. So I can tell you that things are shaping up. I know it looks glum in some places. I last night went to help a neighbor pull a tractor back out of snow and mud, but things are progressing along better than expected. It shows you how dry our soil profile really was.
Well, and that's funny you say that, Bridgette, because I was talking to one of the farmers that we had on earlier this year, Mark Anderson, and ran into him over the weekend. I asked him, I'm like, so it's wet, but we're absorbing the moisture. I said, when do you think you're going to be able to get out in your field? And he was pretty optimistic. He was thinking mid-May.
I'd say that's probably about right. We're seeing people probably in better shape than they expected. It's really coming along, I think.
It is doing pretty well. And here's my optimistic take on that. I don't know if you touched on that while I was away for a minute between that break. In a way, it's kind of good that this is coming in the form of snow, because it will take longer to melt and get into the water system versus if you were to just throw an inch of rain into the ground, because that's just going to flow right in. So that delays the water from getting in and what's already in there to move out of here. So hopefully that's actually a blessing in disguise, that it's coming in as snow and not, a bunch of liquid water. It'll get into the water system slower.
Right. I think you're exactly right. We'll actually, instead of a hard, fast rain, and it wouldn't even have to be that fast, but the absorption rate will just be better than a runoff situation with rain, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it definitely
would be. I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to when we get in the field. Folks are talking about it. Equipment is on the move. Shops are full as people make sure all their repairs are ready. Seed is being distributed to farms and retail locations. Things are happening, so we are coming along very quickly. It's going to be great.
Here's another optimistic swing on it, and this is more of a personal one for me.
Okay.
So you're saying this Friday morning might be a little slippery. You already know where I'm going. Is that another work from home day?
That's probably another work from home day. Yeah, because some of our models were giving areas up around Grand Forks and to the east of Grand Forks 6+ inches of snow. So.
Oh man, wouldn't that be a surprise to wake up to?
Nah.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be a surprise because I'd see it coming. But.
Yeah. I think we're all sick of snow.
I think we are too. I mean,
that's a lot more than I was expecting, by the way.
Well, and you know what? This might end up being a pretty minor event, but even if it's an inch or two, we're going to have some pretty strong winds Friday. So, yeah, Friday's just going to be it's going to be a step back, almost 3 steps back into winter mode on Friday after a beautiful day today with sunshine, and even though the winds are picking up a little bit, temperatures in the 50s to a measurable snow 2 days later. I guess we shouldn't complain. I mean, look at Minneapolis. They were in the 80s, and then they got pounded with snow.
Oh, man. Could you imagine almost being 90 for a couple of 80s for a couple of days, and then you just get slapped back into winter? At least we only hit like 50-something.
Yeah.
We hit 60. We hit 60 one day. I think it bumped up to 62 last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. We briefed. Yeah,
for like 45 minutes.
Yep, and then it crashed back into the 40s.
Yeah. And there's the other thing with this, too. I mean, for the most part, this is falling in lines with the LRC pretty well. In regards just to the calendar, it's off by what looks to be about a day and a half. But in the whole terms of it's going to be a long, drug-out winter, late spring. That's exactly what we're dealing with right now.
And and we just posted an article on our website, WDAYradio.com, the latest LRC model and what it is predicting through the rest of the spring. So through January through June 20th, so right before summer actually officially starts. We've got a map up there on what our temperatures, what our precip is supposed to look like. So let's just say if you're wanting an early start to summer, not this year. Not this
be a little later.
year.
Great. Yeah. Well, we're at bottom of the hour. We have our guest with us. That's Jace Angus. He's going to be joining us in the next segment. And if you want to ask him any questions, a little background on Jace, and he'll introduce himself when we come back after this. He's a PRCA Saddle Rider. He's also an Army vet and a rancher in Colorado. So if you got any questions you want to ask him revolving around any of those topics, feel free to give us a line or a call on the phone line, 701-293-9000. We'll take a short moment here, and we'll be right back with Jace, so stay tuned.
Hey, it's Bonnie and Mastati from Bonnie and Friends. Join us weekday mornings beginning at 5. Coming up on our next show, we will be joined by Brian Kronk, managing partner of Collins & Kronk, with a market update and insight. Licensed registered dietitian Elizabeth McGee will be in to answer your health, diet, nutrition questions. And what's that forecast looking like? Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki will have all the details. All this and more in the next Bonnie and Friends beginning at 5 a.m. Join us.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your kitchen with new appliances from Regal's. Get up to $2,000 back on select GE Profile appliances now through June 1st, featuring the latest smart home technology, providing a simpler and smarter cooking and cleaning experience. Smart technology meets unbeatable prices, plus free delivery and free recycling of your old appliances. Find out why for over 75 years Regal's has delivered value. Regal's, 609 Main Avenue, Moorhead.
Acme Tools is your full-line Honda Premier Power Equipment dealer. Choose from a great selection of dependable, easy-starting Honda mowers, trimmers, and tillers. If it's portable power you're looking for, Honda is the market leader in generators ranging up to 10,000 watts of quiet, reliable power. And if you need to move water fast, Honda commercial pumps are what you're looking for. See the full line of Honda Power Equipment at Acme Tools in Fargo or online at acmetools.com. Do your best work.
Do you have an unsightly or hazardous tree on your property that needs to be removed? Look no further than Tyler's Tree Service. Their team of expert tree removal professionals has the experience and equipment needed to safely remove any tree from your property, big or small, offering competitive pricing and exceptional customer service. You can trust us to get the job done right the first time. Don't let a dangerous or unsightly tree ruin your property. Go to tylerscut.com. Tyler's Tree Service. No stick left behind.
He's big and he's bold, and he's hosting his new show, Carl Higbie Frontline, and it's only on Newsmax. After 9/11, Carl Higbie joined the Navy SEALs. He spent almost a decade fighting for America. Now Carl continues that fight every night on Newsmax. So tune in today for Carl Higbie Frontline. Get the latest on President Trump's next big move, Biden's most dangerous decision, and the inside story on Ron DeSantis. Then watch Newsmax's powerful lineup with Greta Van Susteren, Eric Bolling, Jen Pellegrino, Mike Huckabee, and more. Tens of millions have made the switch to Newsmax. I did. You should too. Newsmax never tells me how to think. It lets me decide. So make the switch today. Watch Newsmax. It's on all major cable systems. And download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. Check out Carl Higbie Frontline tonight. You'll like it.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
And welcome back to WDAY, Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Meteorologist Extraordinaire Justin Storm. We have our guest with us today, and that is Jace Angus. Jace is in Colorado. He is a fifth-generation saddle bronc rider on the PRCA circuit, and he's done quite a few things, as well as spending some time serving in the military. And Jace, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us more about you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. How's things your guys' way?
Well, things are going good here.
Waiting for spring to hit.
Yeah. Just a little chilly.
Yeah, nice pretty warm weather.
Yeah.
So, Jace, give us a little background on you, who you are, and it looks like you grew up in Nevada, right?
Yeah, I grew up in northern Nevada, Fallon, and then we ran cows up north towards Paradise Valley and kind of the Oregon-Idaho border.
And as a fifth-generation saddle bronc rider, who started And what have they all done? And how is it that you just decided to continue on?
Being born into it was been pretty fortunate, really. Grew up doing a couple other things and with motocross and martial arts and always wanting to serve. Just kind of been part of the plan of rodeoing. And then when I started riding broncs, I got on my first one when I was 19 in a bronc saddle, that is. And fell in love with it and then stuck with it ever since.
And Jace,
now for those, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, I was going to ask Jace, what's the most memorable experience since you've been riding? What's the most memorable or dangerous situation that you've encountered?
In the bronc riding?
Correct.
There's so many. It's hard to even pick one because there's so many special moments. Maybe the first one up until college finals or going to the Dodge finals, going to all them big pro rodeos. But pretty much my favorite ones would be the one that my dad turned my horse's head out and we ended up winning it and seeing him pretty happy.
Awesome.
Then another time we did, for my son, we did a gender reveal on the bronc. My dad, he had no idea what was going on. And he seen the blue come off the horse, and he realized right then that we were going to have a boy and probably the next generation of a bronc rider. And he said dirt got in his eye, but that emotion right there, it was a lot of
fun. So, Jace, what would you describe saddle bronc riding? What is that for someone who has no idea what we're talking about?
So the saddle bronc riding, you got an association saddle, a saddle that's designed for riding bucking horses. And it's like, it'd be like the bull riding that everyone knows, but with a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And horses are born to buck and bred to buck. And we dance with them. We get on them in a bucking chute, and they turn us out in 8 seconds. Stay on. The better you ride, and the harder the horse bucks, the better the score.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say is more difficult, the bull riding or the bronc riding?
I don't know. Everything's got its own thing. I can't say one's harder than the other. For me, bull riding would be a little harder, but I'm scared of them, so. That's it. It's a mental fortitude for sure.
Right.
So, Jace, one of the things that you decided to do was at 28, you entered the U.S. Army, which thank you for your service. And I've got to ask, how did you make that choice? You're like, okay, I'm 28 years old, but was it always something you'd wanted to do and just decided the timing was right, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so long story short, ever since I was a little kid, growing up in South Nevada, it was home of Top Gun, so there was a bunch of Navy guys running around, and I just kind of fell in love with the SEAL teams, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to make the NFR, and I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. So I spent years trying to get my shot or a chance to go to BUD/S and try out. So I talked to Navy recruiters several different times and never got that chance. So I had a pro rodeo career started. So I kept rodeoing, being stubborn, and if I'm not going to get a chance doing what I want to do, I'm not going to do it. So as the years go through there, of trying and kind of getting turned down and not getting a chance, I just kept rodeoing. And I grew up with a bunch of buddies, and everybody ended up enlisting, our small group of friends, and I was the only one at the time that didn't follow through with that. Well, as they go overseas and go fight, a few of them didn't come back, and it just kind of ate at me when I was playing for a living, having fun, doing what I wanted when I wanted. It started to eat at me, started feeling guilty, and then we lost another guy years later. I was like, I have to go. And then other friends were like, you're never going to be happy until you do it. So went back to the Navy recruiters and kind of got turned down again, kind of the runaround. So then I looked at other branches, and then the Army ended up kind of giving me a chance. So I went that route, and here we are today. But long story short.
I would say that that's a fantastic story, to be perfectly honest. And through that, you participated and won the Professional Armed Forces Rodeo Association World Championship. You won twice. Oh. So how do you get time to participate because you're still probably in the reserves as well. Would that be true?
Yes, I'm in the Colorado Army National Guard, and that's what I ended up enlisting in. And then we were active for a year going overseas on a deployment. And going to my first duty station in Colorado, I had that leniency because we were part-time, but we still were able to do our day jobs and everything else. And that was day working, ranching, and then training horses. So I was going to rodeo whether I had permission or not, but you have to get permission to do certain things with a high risk, and everything's got to be evaluated and all of that. And so ended up that I was part of the military. I was able to enter those military rodeos of PAFRA, the Professional Armed Forces Rodeo Association, and had a really good year. Luckily, I ended up winning my first world title with that, and then presented that to my unit, and they were super excited and happy, and seeing it gives them a good name, it gives me a good name, but without them, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So then I went the second year and ended up winning the world the second year, and just kind of fell in love with the whole thing. Being able to do both, I was very lucky. Not very many people get a chance to do that kind of stuff, and so I went to go for my third year, but that's when COVID hit, and it kind of shut that year down. So the year after that, went to do it again, but we ended up getting ramped up for deployment, went overseas, so I had to sit out another year. And it kind of sparked a rodeo again. So when we got home, I had a goal as to I want to be the guy that comes home from deployment and wins the world that year. And luckily, we got that done as well.
That's awesome. Hey, Jace, we had an email question come in here for you. They were wondering, has Jace's time in the military given him a new outlook or perspective for professional rodeo riding? Has that given him better competitive skills or improved teamwork with his rodeo crew?
100%. Yeah, while I was sitting overseas, you get those thoughts, whether you get in situations or not, whether it's dangerous situations or just coming home and things being different in unfortunate ways that I ended up going through. But it did. There was times where I thought I was never going to be able to rodeo again, and without me even realizing it, I took rodeo for granted. Never thought I did until I got put in those situations that I did take it for granted, and that kind of changed my whole outlook on it, because that's who I've been, and I really understand that's who I am and what I love to do. So it sparked a new bug and it gave me a completely new discipline on how I want to do things, not just in the rodeo arena, but in life in general. And yeah, with teamwork, it's huge. Without a team, it's really hard, next to impossible. Everything's always possible, but it's super hard to do everything on your own. And that's where we this year have really kind of went back to the drawing board to, okay, let's do things a little different, kind of try to get the sponsors lined up, kind of try to make that NFR, and use my story to help the next people in similar things, whether they serve or not serve, because trauma's trauma as far as I'm concerned, and pay it forward.
So, Jace, when you were deployed overseas, where were you? And can you give us a little bit of background on what your mission was there? And I understand if there's things you can't talk about.
Yeah, no, I can say some things. We ended up going to the Horn of Africa, and we ended up being a Sec 4 mission, which is security forces. We were supposed to be in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, but then I think our FOB got shut down, which is Forward Operating Base. Or whatever happened, we ended up not going there, but then we got ramped up to go to Africa and sit on a small FOB outside of, well, I'll just say in the Horn of Africa, and we just kind of held security on a certain place for 9 months.
And Jason, we have one last question here. Is it scarier or more difficult to ride, or when you got deployed, your service for our country? What was more scary or more difficult for you?
I don't know. Everything kind of has its own things. I would say it's. I mean, that's our job. Whether you're riding broncs or you're going overseas to do whatever you have to do. Definitely, when you land in a third world country, there's emotions and visual aspects that happen. It's like, okay, it gives your nerves going quite a bit, but you're also excited because this is what you want to do. That it kind of drowns out fear. There's definitely moments of fear and everything, but that's just an emotion. So you got to really learn how to dig deep and lock that in a box and push forward.
So, Jace, I want to ask before we head to our markets report, but as you are going to be continuing to compete, where can folks follow you? Where would they find more information about the circuit that you're on and just kind of keep an eye on what you're doing for events?
We have the social media, Facebook and Instagram. Right now, we're trying to get that built up a lot better so people can follow or be a part of the team. And we're really trying to involve anybody that wants to be a part of it, whether it's sponsorships or any way somebody wants to be a part of this whole story and goal. We're willing to put the team together and keep pushing forward and try to make the NFR and get a world title won.
That would be spectacular. So thank you for that. And again, for folks who are listening, our guest today has been Jace Angus. Jace actually is a Army veteran, but also he's a saddle bronc rider, 5th generation. And we really appreciate you sharing your story with us today, Jace. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and for your service.
Thanks for your service too, Jace.
Thank you guys as well.
No problem.
Well, folks, we're going to catch up on the markets with the American Ag Network. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we enjoy drinking coffee because it keeps us energized and focused.
Well, let's be frank. I enjoy drinking coffee because coffee keeps me wide-eyed in the morning, but I'll tell you this type of coffee is organic, specialty-grade coffee, beans selected from the top 2% available, 100% Arabica bean coffee, certified organic, non-GMO, low acidity, rich, smooth, and ready to drink.
The finish is clean and it has a pleasant aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so far the best coffee that we've had. It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. All you need to do is go to mystore.com, click on My Coffee, and enter the promo code WDAY.
That's promo code WDAY to get your own My Coffee.
It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. Go to mystore.com, promo code WDAY.
Rich Rispa with American Ag Network here for this market update. We're chatting with Arlen Suderman of Stone X. Arlen, I'm noticing the numbers today. They're kind of hovering around unchanged, but they're going back and forth. What are you making of those today?
It is a day kind of lacking in direction. Probably the one commodity that stands out as being the weakest right now is Kansas City wheat, and I'm going to blame a lot of that on technicals. Kansas City wheat has seen a lot of strength over the past month, and it rallied up to the $9 level, which is an area of significant resistance on the charts for the May contract, and couldn't see the follow-through buying, and so profit-taking came in, and that kind of had a drag then on the rest of the wheat complex as well. corn and soybeans have also seen significant gains this month, and I think we're seeing some profit taking there as well. We're generally getting support from more rhetoric coming out that suggests that increasing risks of the grain initiative not being extended for Ukraine after it expires on May 18th. But that's largely been factored in for now, and we're just kind of waiting for fresh news in this market and doing a little consolidating and taking some profits.
Those have been comments by Arlen Suderman, chief economist at StoneX. Taking a check of the market numbers here. May corn is down 1 1/4 at 6.75 1/4. May beans down 4 1/2 at 15.12 1/2. Bean meal May down 6.60 a ton at 4.59.10. Bean oil May up 89 at 55.46. Wheat Chicago May down 3 at 6.93 1/2. Kansas City May down 9 3/4 at 8.80, and the May Minneapolis wheat that's down 6 1/2 at 8.82 1/2. Live cattle April down a nickel at 175.70. Feeders April up a nickel at 205.60, and the May lean hogs they're down 122 at 79.77. And crude oil is trading up about a half a buck at just over $81 a barrel. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:53 in this afternoon. If you want to join in our conversation, we got a few more topics that we're going to try and get to. You can call us on the Red Wing Shoes studio line at 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us in our inboxes via email at weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. Bridgette, I got to ask, because this whole conversation is sped up, do you own a kayak?
I do not. I used to own a paddleboard.
How about a little dinghy? Any watercraft of portable size?
Okay, here's the part where you'll laugh. I have a giant inflatable called the Cabana that looks like a huge lounger with a little roof on it, and it's not really made to go places, but to just gently float in the water. Is that going to work?
That would work out ideally.
No, it wouldn't.
What do you mean it wouldn't?
No, you don't want that popped.
Well, I mean, are we going to pop it?
Well, you never know.
What are we doing?
Well, we wanted to go check out our field for Here We Grow up on the north side of town, but we're not certain if it has standing water in it, because I've seen a few fields that have water, and I've seen other fields that have no water, and I'm not sure what our soil looks like right now.
Well, the good news is our farmer, Jim, is going to be with us on Friday, so we get to talk about our field conditions. But my bigger question for you guys, can you swim? What if you just put on life vests?
Well, you ever heard of the 50-50-50 rule?
Do I want to?
Well, I think it's something that everybody should be aware of. If you haven't heard of the 50-50-50 rule yet, and it's if you're 50 feet away from shore in water that's 50 degrees, you have a 50% chance of making it back to land before hypothermia starts to kick in.
That's a great rule, and you should know that the chances are extremely high. Like, I'm giving it a 99% chance that that water is not 50 degrees yet.
I got a pretty good feling that it's not 50.
And it's probably not 50 feet deep.
Well, it's 50 feet away from shore, not 50 feet deep.
From shore.
Oh, okay.
It'd have to be at least probably 3 feet deep. In the ditches, it's probably 3 feet deep.
Could be.
Chest feet. We got to go up 4.5. All right, we're going nowhere with this conversation. We found out that Bridgette owns a cabana. We're going to use that to go float in our field.
We'll use that at the lake.
That'll be fun
this summer.
Hey, I got to ask Bridgette another thing. I know we have topics to get to, but I could have swore I saw your driver who's showing you around the town. Is that Sarah by chance?
It is. My driver today is Sarah Levis, who guest hosted for us when Dean and I were out speaking to a group of farmers one day. Sarah was in studio with you as well, Justin, and she has been a great discussion point for us when we talk about soil science. So, yeah, Sarah's my driver today.
You know what? Hi, Sarah. It's good to hear you again. We're going to have to get you back on with us because we're going to have all sorts of questions. And, well, I don't know about Dean and Bridgette, but I loved having you on the show. So you'll have to come in and break a few things down for us one day.
Well, considering I have her and my laptop, I guess I could probably just book her for a discussion on our soils on our field, especially if we've had water standing on our field, et cetera. We could probably have this talk down
That's
the
a
road,
good
huh?
idea.
Yeah, there
That's a
go.
good idea.
Okay.
And she does some super cool stuff with satellites and fields.
Yes, she does.
Really?
Imagine if you were using that on your farming simulator game, Justin. Imagine.
In a way, I indirectly do, and it is amazing. And it is some super cool stuff. So maybe we can get Sarah to explain how all that works and how do you use a satellite to improve your field.
Okay, so if she is well versed on satellite, and do you think she could help us out with when they have Spray Tuesday with the chemtrails? Could we use her satellite to
Those features
be
are
able-
too fine of scale to pick up on.
Okay,
Well, actually, no,
just-
it's not. I've seen those contrails from space before using GOES 16, which is a geostationary satellite we
Right.
use for weather. And you can see the clouds and the lines in the
But
sky.
maybe she could debunk this tinfoil hat theory of chemtrails, or maybe she could confirm it.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and Bridgette, I'm sorry to cut you off. Satellites, they can use the wavelengths that are reflected off of materials in the atmosphere to determine what that is made out of, whether it would be water or other gases, and you could find out what those contrails are actually composed of.
Just so you both know, I will be in studio tomorrow. We're going to talk about this, not on air, because you're wrong. But
Yes, we
I will see what we can do. Meanwhile, I'll see what we can do to book Sarah. I'm going to have to ask her nicely after all that.
I think so, and we would definitely be way more professional with Sarah when we're talking about that, because she actually does some really amazing work with the satellite information.
Cool.
Here's another thing we're doing tomorrow, and that's we are finally going to be trying the Pringles mashed potatoes. I will be making those
Are you
before
making
our
those
show
tonight?
starts. No,
Okay,
I'll
you're
make
gonna
them
make 'em
before the
here?
show starts
Okay.
here. And then I will dish them up hot out of the pan for myself, Bridgette, Dean, and I heard yesterday Jay Thomas is
Jay wanted to
interested
take it.
in trying
Try it.
some of these Pringles mashed potatoes. So we're going to make those tomorrow, so be sure to join us.
Have you tried it?
I have not. It's got to be a blind taste. I want to have my reaction be on camera and audio, microphones.
Can we blindfold you? Have a one
Well,
dish
I
of
mean-
regular mashed potatoes and one dish of the Pringles mashed potatoes, and see if you could tell the
I
difference.
think you'll definitely be able to tell the difference between a Pringle and a potato.
You would think so.
Yeah.
This has gone far enough. What's the weather before we end this show today, gentlemen?
A beautiful afternoon today with temperatures in the 50s, 40s right now, just west of town and also in the northern valley. But from FM area southward, we're in the low 50s and should make it up at least to the mid 50s. Some spots a touch warmer than that. And then rain and a few thunder showers come in tonight after midnight. That'll lead to a cooler, windy day for your Wednesday with highs only in the 40s. And then the second part of the system swings our way for Thursday into Friday. And it looks like either a rain or rain-snow mix late Thursday, changing over to wet snow Thursday night. And Friday looks windy with snow, especially early in the day. We will see accumulating snow. Just keep up to date on the forecast. Right now, it's anywhere between about 1 to 4 inches, but we're getting some indications it may be a little bit more than that. I know. But like I said, this will all melt by late weekend, it looks like, unless we get socked with a lot more. So that'll do it for Weather and Ag in Focus. How's that for CYA?
Gonna give you one of those.
Thanks for joining us. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.